Like,
So
like you,
so what are we doing here? What do you got
like
there?
that. There's an error. Okay, so this is sampling a texture. The first texture will be in Corona sampler 0. If you add another one, it'll be in number 1.
Okay, so up at the top, just for maybe people who didn't notice, up there at the top, you've got a drop down where you can select the textures and the that you want to use, and then those give you the names of those, the I don't know, the variable names or whatever.
Yeah, well, these these are built-in variables. So if you remember that other document where it said that these are just kernels, Corona is actually building the scaffolding around it.
Okay.
That's what these are part of. So there's some stuff that's just kind of a general purpose shader body, and then you fill in the guts.
But in this sampler, so in this sampler, you wouldn't be able to necessarily use your own textures. Is that what we're saying?
There is a way to do it. I don't know how. uh, somebody in the share, I believe in the share your shaders thread, somebody posted how to do it. But I
Okay.
think you can pass it through the parameters that would appear up here, the query string.
Okay. We'll link to the share your shaders thread.
See if I can find a decent looking.
So the first one that we looked at then was like sort of a generator effect, where you were just
Right.
sort of calculating things and getting a, a visual result on the other end. This one is more of the filter effects. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, these are all filters. Some of you can do filters and composites here.
Okay. And so does anybody know what that space octagon? I've never seen that texture before. Does it really look like that, or are you manipulating it to look like that?
Oh yeah, it looks like that. So
Okay. But now you're just altering the.
yeah, I'm multiplying the x scored by a scale factor, and you can also shift it over.
So rather than, if I guess what I'm looking at here then is like if you get a texture, and let's say that you, for whatever reason, you want it larger, smaller, you want some sort of different variation of it or whatever, right? If you didn't use something like this, you would have to create all those individual images and then programmatically swap them out or use them in some way, right? But here you're saying, I got a texture and I can programmatically manipulate it, and
Right.
that way I have one image, and then I'm just scaling it, moving it, coloring it, doing whatever I need to do. So that's less resources, less work on my part in terms of assets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
Yeah.
this is what fetches the color from a texture.
Yeah. Because I see there with this one with the space octagons, you've gone from you zoomed in, you had like only a few octagons on the screen, and then you've zoomed out, so to speak, and now you have a bunch of them, almost like a floor pattern, fancy hotel floor pattern, and then you were also stretching them and manipulating them as you scaled them. So that was weird.
Yeah, you'll often see this formula, and this turns the range 0, 1 into -1, 1. So you see, if it's 0, it's 2 times 0 minus 1, -1. 2 times 1 minus 1 is 1.
And what does that do for you generally?
That is if those coordinates would be more convenient for you, basically. So, like if you wanted a distance from the center,
Uh-huh.
you would take like your point in the middle of the rect, which is 0.5, 0.5, and when you apply that, you get 0 there, you get -1 over here, you get 1 over here, and then for instance, if you're doing a circle, that tells you how far from the center you are.
Okay. So is it similar to, I mean, the first thing my brain goes to is in C++ or whatever, you can go, you can say you can, what is it? You can say plus plus, like you can say 1 equals 1 plus it's plus 1. You know what I'm saying? Like you can kind of shortcut the.
You can do that, but that's not
It's not what we're doing here.
no. That's just
Can I interject something?
common form. Yeah.
Okay, so without being able to point at the screen, Charles, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Stephen, but traditionally when we're talking about filling in the pixels in a rectangle in a rendering environment like this, especially in Corona, it starts at 0, 0, which is the upper left corner, and then moves down to the lower right corner, incrementing x, goes from left to right, and y goes from top to bottom. Now, regardless of whether or not the y's are inverted, what he was saying is by doing that multiply by 2 and minus 1 thing,
Yeah.
he was saying instead of thinking in terms of a reference point being in the upper left corner and then shading from there, he was saying let's move our representation of the reference point to the center of the texture that we're trying to fill in, and then all the calculations that we do will come out either left or right and fill outward.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's a much more natural expression for something like a circle or some kind of shape where you want to create a fill from the center instead of a fill from the upper left corner.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Okay. So,
Like this.
Right. I mean, good luck trying to do that from the upper left corner.
Yeah. So what do we have there? For people listening, not being able to see this, we have what almost looks like a pie shape. More than 65% of a pie shape, and then it's got a texture on it, and then that whole thing is spinning from the center.
Yeah. So this thing in the background is just for looks. This code it's 3D. It's looking at the surface of a sphere and getting spherical coordinates and spinning it around so it looks fancy. This other part, since everybody's been doing the what do you call it, the progress ring with the pie charts and everything, this is kind of following on that. I am getting a position relative to the center, as Ed said, and then taking the arctangent, which, given 2 points or 2 positions that are away from the center, you can get the angle defined by them. And I'm finding out where it is in the arc. If it's between these two angles, which are being updated by time, then if they're between them, I show the pixel. Otherwise, I'm returning all zeros, which is black without alpha. And that pixel essentially goes away.
So is it redrawing that image over and over again, or are you saying that it's in effect just masking it, kind of covering an image that's there?
It's basically doing a mask, yeah.
Okay.
So the sphere itself, I have something to detect that here. So if it's more than 1 unit away from the center, then when I get the return value, you can do functions in GLSL too.
So now when we look at when I'm staring at this image, and it's going around and around like that, it almost feels like the image is pulling from the right to the left, like it's going. It's like it's spinning, like it's almost like a globe that's spinning, sort of maybe counterclockwise, or.
It is spinning. It is.
Okay.
And there's a seam.
But then it also has this mask effect going on top of it, which kind of gives it this rotation thing.
Yeah, and I have 2 ways the code can go. So you can define this, and it'll go through this code path up here. And then we suddenly involve these things, the Corona vertex user data, which are up here. And we can increase those. Oh. So this will be 85% of the way through the arc, up to 1% or 100% of the way through the arc. We can go the other way too.